Alright, so I will be making the second video, or part 2, to the understanding of GEX. Since I did have some improper interpretations on it, I'm making an updated video for y'all. So firstly, I want to go over why is GEX important in intraday trading. Firstly, I want to say, what is GEX? GEX, short for gamma exposure. Gamma is a second class Greek that measures how delta changes as the underlying asset changes. So what are some underlying assets? Underlying assets are, directly correlated options, and some representations can be QQQ to NQ. NQ is the underlying asset of QQQ. And for SPX or SPY, the underlying asset would be ES. So therefore, when you're going to mark your levels, you would, if you're an NQ trader, you mark your levels on QQQ or NDX, which is another options. Or if you're an ES trader, you can mark your levels on SPX or SPY, depending on which options chain you're looking at. Now, how do we implement this into our trading? We can implement it by spotting the major put and call walls, and having an extra narrative can help with a more precise level and directional bias. So for me personally, I use AMT, which helps me find my, I guess you could say, narrative for the overall market. And it also limits the amount of levels I have, so it's easier to spot and align my QQ or my major put and call walls with my AMT. If you don't know what a put and call wall or put and call is, a call is the right to buy and a put is the right to sell, which is basically just options terminology of saying buy and sell. How do we find these walls? Me personally, I find my walls with paid data provided by GEXradar, which is a site that displays all major strikes and provides multiple visuals of dealers' estimated exposure strike price that gives us the opportunity to capitalize off of, which is also very cheap. It's literally only like $50 a month. There are multiple free servers provided that provides GEX data inside of my server. So if y'all don't want to have to pay, I have multiple servers that are free in my server. Now, next thing that is super important to know is the gamma and market regimes. The regime differentiate based off the gamma, which then affect the volatility of the underlying asset, which in this case would be NQ or ES. The different gamma regimes are long and positive gamma, and short and negative gamma. When we're in positive long gamma, it can imply the suppression or stabilization of the trend or movement through the positive gamma strike prices. When the dealers are in negative short gamma, volatility rises and quicker moves occur. So like today we opened negative gamma. So it's right here. Usually on GEXradar, it will either say long gamma or short gamma. Today we were short gamma, which made us move way faster than we usually would, because the regime was short, which shows that we are more volatile. We have way quicker moves. Now, in a positive gamma environment, what the dealers do is they'll sell the underlying as it goes up. In a negative gamma environment, dealers will buy the underlying as it goes down. But what I think is super important is seeing the dealer gamma exposure shift as we approach it. So let's say we're approaching this call wall, and this call wall has, what is it, 657? Let's say we're approaching it 657. It's at 62 million right now. As we're approaching it from below, we start to increase. Let's say we go up to 80 million. That can show an indication of in hedging, and can possibly give signs of a reversal. Now, if we decrease as we approach, there is a higher chance of us breaking through and having a quick squeeze through that wall. And then from there, levels can be used as support and resistance. Me personally, how I like to visualize the exposure shift would be by looking at the heat map, and it is clearly provided with GEXradar. I've been working with GEXradar since I got it. I've had it for like about a month now. I've been liking it. It's been making my trading very, very easy. If you look at my previous videos, you can see my recaps and stuff. You see me clicking through GEXradar and stuff like that. But if you want a full understanding of how you put all this together, firstly, I want to say I don't advise using GEX alone. I think it is way more beneficial when it is added with other confluences. Like I said, me personally, I use AMT and VP levels. AMT helps me get a better context on market direction, and then GEX amplifies that and gives me more conviction depending on what GEX is telling me. So if GEX, may be a little bit different from what my AMT and VP levels are telling me, I'll mainly go off my AMT. When applying GEX, it's best to start out by marking out levels, like the major put and call walls. So, today at open, or 10 minutes before open, I marked out our major call walls and put walls, which were these for today. You can see it gave high day for today, which is absolutely beautiful. I'll mark my walls out depending on what you're trading. If you are trading ES, then you'll mark it out on SPX or SPY. But I think the price is already converted if you're trading ES and you're looking at SPY chart. And then If you don't have access to a chart, luckily Gex Radar does come close to that. Like, look. Don't have access to a chart. Look at this. They allow you to look at the pre-plotted levels. Soon they will be coming out with a trading view indicator that I'm pretty sure does the same thing. So you won't have to do it on the site, but I think it's pretty sick. Next thing I would want to do when the morning before market open is recognize what our gamma regime is, what gamma regime we are in for today, how can that affect our movement for the day, and then, like I said, as we approach each major wall, depending on if it aligns with your main confluence, watch how the hedging or the exposure changes as we approach it. And of course, from whatever your entry confirmation is, which is me personally, it is the DOM, then you can enter off of that.